Alright guys, I'm gonna try to do my 800-mile review, and yeah, it's getting really hot, really humid, and there's mosquitoes all around me, but let's just dive right into this. I bought this bike brand new, taxes and all, out the door, for just over $1,200 back in, June, I believe. And been riding the piss out of it, really. Almost 800 miles out of it in about a year. Man, of course you don't ride much in the winter, although I did a little. There's a few videos where I've ridden in the winter, but anyway, a few upgrades that I've done to it, some personal, some because I think they needed it, like the tires. The stock tires were okay, but they give you that really balloony whoa 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 as you're going down the road feel. These enduro tires, this is where it's at. These are really good tires. Now for the pair of them, they were about $140, $150, somewhere in that ballpark. But they clean the bike up really nice. They give it a really good look. They have that motorcycle enduro look. They ride super nice, really smooth, like on paved trails and greenways. Yeah, these are great. But you get into the gravel and they're just as good. This is the only flaw. They pick up stones. So if you store your bike in the house like I do, you bring gravel in now and then. But yeah, that's one upgrade I did, and so glad I did it. I'm going to buy another set of these when these wear out, unless I hear something about better. But this tread is so nice. They can go up to a max air pressure of 25. Right now I'm running 20. And I don't get any of that balloony whoop whoop, you know, as you're going down the road. They ride smooth. I mean smooth. You can see the footprint that it leaves. It rides right where it's supposed to, right on the center line, and you don't feel no bumps in the grooves of the tire. You don't feel that at all. It's just a smooth tire feel. Just really good tires. I highly recommend them. They're made by Yun. But yeah, good tires. But moving on, the next upgrade I did is 4-piston hydraulic brakes. Now I ride pretty rough. I can get into some trails that are ups and downs and sharp corners all of a sudden, and yeah, so I put 4-piston zooms on, and they were right around 100, just under $100, and yeah, love it. Unbelievable. Now I'm not saying that cable brakes won't work. You can leave your stock cable brakes on if you want, but the response on these is so much better. You can dive into corners so much better. But if you're just an everyday this kind of rider, and yeah, cables are fine. Unnecessary to go hydraulic, but they do stop better, and that's, I don't know, they're just a better braking system, I think. So, and if you get into rough trail riding like I do, I mean, I really get out there and I ride rough. It's just much better control. I'm walking around the bike as I'm talking, just so you don't get the same boring view. All right. Oh, got a couple mosquitoes buzzing me here. So, let's see. Oh, my Safford suspension seat post. This was right around $100 too, just under $100. Take it out the door, just under $100. Once you set your reload correctly for your body weight, I'm a pretty heavy guy. I'm over 200. So up underneath it, and I'm swatting mosquitoes here, so bear with me. You can set your preload up inside the bottom of the tube. With the Allen key, you set it, and you just tighten or loosen, and it's the spring tension. And this, can't really do it, but you can see how the suspension system works. Obviously, it just pivots on all those joints, and man, I'll tell you what, once you get your preload set to match the preload on your front suspension, you get on it and it's like a motorcycle. You know, you ever sit on a motorcycle, it collapses a little bit? That's what this is like. That's what it's like to ride it now. You just, very smooth, very, very smooth ride. And you don't get the bunny hops when you pedal the bike. You know, like some suspension seat posts will do this as you're doing your cadence. You know, your strokes up and down, and your seat will jump up and down. This will if you get it too sloppy, but some of those ones, yeah, you gotta be careful. This one is really, really good. You sit on it, and it does your preload, and it stays right there. The only time it moves is when you need it to, and it's awesome. It is just, I love it. For sure, gonna put that on my list of highly recommends. Inside the tires, as you can see here on my battery, I use Tannis Armor tube inserts. Now what they are is they wrap, it's a foam insert that wraps around the whole tube, especially up on the, you can see how it's in the picture of the, you can kind of see it right there. That's what it does. The outer part of the tube near the tread of the tire is really thick. I think it's like 15 mils thick, and then it wraps around the outer part of the tube, the outer part of the tire, you know, and that's like 5 mil thick on the outside. And it's really, it's good stuff. That's in there, and that was expensive. That stuff was almost $200 for those two foam inserts, about 180 somewhere in there. I also have an extra heavy-duty rim band inside. I left the one that was in there, and then I put another heavy-duty rim band on top of the one that's in there. So I have 2 rim bands in each rim and the foam insert. So the tubes are pretty protected. You know, there's not much. It's going to pinch it, you know, create slow leaks. They're pretty protected tires. The rear rack, I got mine half the price of Himiway's website. Theirs is like around $80. I got this one for $40. Now it's not it's an OEM. It's not an aftermarket. The only difference is it didn't have right here. It's engraved, laser engraved, and it says Himiway. This one didn't have that on it. It just was blank. And I thought I liked that better because then I can do whatever I want with it. So I just antiqued it like an old burnt up barn board and put one of my decals on it, and yeah, went from there. But yeah, it fits perfect. There was nothing at all different other than it just didn't say Himiway, laser engraved Himiway on it. That's the only difference. So for $40 I got an exact fit rear rack. It just wasn't branded, that's all. Let's see, pedals. I've replaced the pedals. I got the heavier dutier aluminum pedals. Took off the plastic ones that came with the bike. These were way nicer. The bearings inside are so smooth. They're kind of a neat design, but yeah, they're super nice pedals. Did I even get that in camera? Probably not. Yeah, those pedals are just made by Bond Mix or something like that. Yeah, really good pedals. Let's see, going upstairs here, being that I replaced the brakes, the integrated little bell thing that was on the lever, that is now gone, so I had to put on my own electric horn. It's not turned on right now, but so this is what this little wire is. It goes over to my little electric horn that you can see right there. It comes with a couple of different sounds, and they all suck. The only one that sounds good is when it sounds like a Volkswagen. Meep meep. It's kind of cool. The thumb throttle that I put in. Well, wait. Since we're over here, let's talk about this handlebar extension. This I got because I also have a rear view camera that I sometimes use. I don't use it all the time. If I go to like a big park that has a big giant bike loop or something where it's always busy and stuff like that, where it also shares with cars, I need to see behind me, in other words, I'll put that on, and it sits right here really perfect. And then I also have more headlights for if I want to ride at night, ride trails, or super bright headlights. They mount on each side here, and on the sides of this right here, and then the wires come down, and I keep a battery pack for it right here. It goes in a case. So they have their own battery pack that you charge up, and yeah, those lights are super bright. I also use the light that's on the bike, but that's kind of just, I have that projected almost like right directly in front of the tire, so I can see holes immediately. But the ones I use up on the handlebars, they project way out ahead of me, and so I can see, deer or whatever if I'm really hauling butt on a backwoods trail or something. So that I did, and I put a stem on that fits me. The stem they had on it was a straight out 90, and I was like, what the hell, man, why? For a medium bike this should fit better, and it just couldn't. No, I adjusted the seat and everything, it couldn't get it to, no. So I was like, alright, well, I don't need a shorter stem, and so I found a shorter stem with a 35-degree uprise, and I put it on, and holy crap, what a difference. Now, it did make the bike, you might as well call it an upright now, and that's fine with me. I'm 62 years old, so I don't mind the upright position now. But I can still handle the trails. It goes and it handles the trails nice. But that short stem brought those bars back to me a little bit more, because I have a short trunk. My legs are fine. I have a 34 inseam, but I have a short trunk, so I hate reaching over, bending over, and that did it right there. That changed the whole game right there. Putting on that stem, highly recommend that. And putting on a thumb throttle rather than a twist grip, and having real full-size grips makes a huge difference in comfort and how you ride. Your hands are the same temperature. Let me put this back on my chest. Your hands are the same temperature when you ride. You don't have that plastic piece that's this big that you twist, over here. That you twist right here for your throttle. It's over here. And you don't hit it by accident. A lot of times when I was going into corners and stuff, or really cranking hard going up a hill, I would lean back a little bit and I would twist that by accident, or about to shoot me off a trail, and it'll get me out of control a little. So, but with a thumb throttle, you actually got to reach out a little bit. Oops, the power's on. You actually got to reach out for it. So it's not like it's right there. Some people like it ready to go, but I don't. I like it. This isn't here for me. I don't ride this like a motorcycle. This isn't here for me. This is here if I need it for assistance. You already got assistance on the crank. So yeah, I could disconnect this for all I care, but it does come in handy at times when you just need that extra. Got to get up that hill and you ain't got it. You just give it that little bit more, and oh, you made it up. So it is handy to have. So I'll say, I'm glad I do have it, because I do use it now and then. But I don't ride this like a motorcycle. I don't take off from a dead start with the throttle ever. I always use the pedals. I ride this like a bike, and I let it assist me like it's supposed to. And man, my battery lasts forever. And my legs feel like I've actually ridden it. Yeah, it's whatever you're into. But I've always ridden bikes. I've always liked riding bikes. I've had bikes all my life and just like riding distances and stuff. And now it's just easier to do 25, 30 miles and still have a little bit of energy left to eat something when you get home. You know, like I said, 62 years old, I'm going for it. I'm taking advantage of it all. But anyway, with all these upgrades that I put on, you know, like I said, I spent just a little over $1,200 brand new out the door. And right now the value of this bike is just over $1,900. So, you know, for $700 upgrades, I turned this into a perfect bike for me. It's got everything on it I need. It's now full suspension, disc brakes, hydraulic 4-piston disc brakes. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're going to go ride, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more before it gets way too hot and humid and these mosquitoes just carry me away. But, yep, there's my $800 mile review. The bike itself, unbelievable. Himiway, just love it. It hasn't given me any single problems at all. I charge the battery right like you're supposed to. I let it drain down to a good amount. I don't ride it for an hour, then come home and put it back on the charger. I don't do any of the things that you're not supposed to do. I treat it the way you're supposed to. And look at it. It's still in really, really good condition for an 800-mile bike. There's some upgrades, but still original chain. I just oiled that, so it's a little grimy. But yeah. Oh yeah, and I put the chainstay protectors on there and the drink coolers. Those are my personal upgrades. They were I got them all together on Amazon for right around, I don't know, $30 or something for all those. But yeah, I recommend a chainstay protector, because otherwise you're just going to get scratches if you ride rough like I do on the bumps and rough trails. Your chain bounces up and down, and it'll slap that rail, chew your paint off. Anyway, let's go riding.